Robert.
Yo, what's shaking, AC?
Oh my goodness, we haven't done this in a long time.
It has been a while, like 3 or 4 weeks, right?
We were on the road and then our schedules weren't syncing up. So I don't know about you, and I'm sure this is happening to you as well, but I'm just getting left, right and center, like messages and emails and people saying, where are you guys? We are missing your rants. Like you're probably getting a ton too.
No, actually, I'm not getting any. Like, let's get real here. I'm the sidekick. I'm rolling on your coattails. You're the celebrity.
They probably think I'm your assistant, and they're like, "Well, I can't reach out to Robert, so I'll just see if Angela anyway she can make this happen." So anyway, no, all kidding aside, it's good to be back. Yes. I wish we could be one of these days. We'll do another in-person rant, but for now, here we are.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get right into it. All right.
Okay. What are we going to rant about?
This is what's on my mind. Okay. So Angela, AC Inc. is so deep into this franchise world. Okay. You're like at every conference. You've been going to Springboard for 5 years at least, if not more. You're at the IFA, the CFA, all these different conferences. You have these magnificent roundtables with just a plethora of franchisors that all have their own input and stuff that they're putting into this, right? So there's constantly just knowledge and experience getting thrown at you to the point where, like, I would be amiss to say, is that how you say it? Anyways, I think it would be appropriate to say that you are probably one of the most experienced and intelligent people in franchising. So that being said, when you go to a conference, like let's say Springboard that just happened, when you went to Springboard, what did you get out of that? Like, you already know all this stuff.
Okay, you're being really silly here. But first of all, I think it's plethora.
Okay.
You think it's plethora?
It depends which syllable you put the emphasis on.
Right. Okay. I knew that was coming. So first of all, I know you're just being whatever, nice and kind and all that. But it is true that people that have been around for a while, I wonder too, like when you go to a franchise conference, are you there for takeaways? Are you there for connection? What are you getting out of it? And I mean, I would be a terrible leader if I wasn't still always learning, right? Like if you had the attitude that you knew it all, of course, and I don't think that's quite what you're saying. I think you're asking more, what is my key takeaway from this?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And you're right. The roundtables have been an incredible opportunity. I never would have known this in advance, or thought of this, I should say, that in running those roundtables, which started, March of 2020 because of the crisis, but have continued on and grown to having, an established one, an emerging franchisor category. It's been incredible. The blessing of the learnings, you get to learn, what are people's challenges? How are they handling them? What are the latest concerns? So it's kind of like, what are the trends and things? So I just want to acknowledge that that's been a real blessing. So when I go to Springboard, I definitely get little nuggets for sure from the panels and conversations. And when you moderate a panel, you get to learn because you get to ask the questions you want to ask. Also that the audience will like, but there is a key takeaway that really stood out for me this year. And it's something that I'd heard before, and it's been around, but I feel like I heard it louder than I ever have. And I don't know if that's because I just finally heard it or if it's actually increasing, which I think is kind of a bit of both. And that is that money is flowing, that there's money out there. I know now people that are listening to this on the podcast don't know that you just grinned. You just had a big grin come on your face. Money's flowing. Yeah. And, what it means is that for especially like early stage and emerging franchisors, you've got to think about whether or not you want to bring on an investor. And A, do you need the money? B, do you need the expertise? A lot of people, we've seen our clients think they should bring on an investor because that's what you do. And we kind of lift the hood on that and go, well, why? Like, why do you think that? Like, not that you shouldn't, but don't just do it because that's what people are doing. So really for me, the key takeaway was this, money's flowing, it's out there. How did that land on you, or did you catch that as well?
Yeah, I definitely caught caught that, and it was very surprising. And because the narrative that I continue hearing is that the world is coming to an end, inflation's through the roof, unemployment is unbearable, we've got to print more money, and the world, like, you're just not.
You need to stop watching the news.
I know. So going to somewhere where the people who are actually dispersing the money are there was valuable, because they're the ones writing the checks, right? And so if they know that money's flowing, right? I think it raises a whole lot of questions for franchisors about investment. Coming from the investment world, everyone, or even the startup world, everyone is always crazy about getting an investor, right? But if your business model is structured so that you need an investor because you're not going to have profitable revenues until you hit some sort of milestone, like an app that needs 1 million active monthly or daily users, fine, you get money then. But if you have a business model that is profitable regularly on a monthly basis, maybe you can take some of that profit and reinvest it and have a sustainability sort of model here, financial sustainability, so you don't have to get investors. But what if you want investors? What if you do? So how do you value it? That it doesn't really come easily on a discounted cash flow basis, because your one-time revenues, like your franchise fees, don't get included in that. Your recurring revenues, like your franchise royalties, do, and there's a different sort of cap rate or risk rate that gets applied to emerging franchisors than it gets applied to established franchisors. It opens up a whole box of stuff that I am so intimately interested in.
Yeah, are you just flexing a little bit there, like all your experience in doing company valuations from your days on Bay Street, which is the Canadian version of Wall Street?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing we should just touch on, we get asked all the time, and we ask, well, should I bring an investor? How do I make that decision? Should we go there?
Yeah, sure.
So I think people really need to think about why, right? Like, do you need money? Do you just need money? Because then why are you giving up equity? Can you go get money anywhere else? Is there some other way traditionally you can get money? If you need expertise and you don't really need money, then I mean, of course, I'm biased because this is what AC Inc. does, but get someone that can help you, and you invest in your people so that it's, you're learning and growing, and get to a point where you actually can have a better valuation on your company and make more, or get a better deal out of the situation, right? So oftentimes people think they need an investor because they don't have franchise expertise. And what happens, they bring in some franchise expert who's a strategic investor with the expertise and brings in the money. And now the dynamic changes because that investor is sort of dominating because they have that expertise, and you're no longer the founder driving the bus. And so it really changes things. Not that that's bad for everybody, but it's something to think about. Like, how's that going to change? And you better really vet that strategic partner. That's another thing that goes south a lot, right? Yeah. So there's a lot to think about for sure.
People get excited about getting an investor. They want to get on
trendy.
that.
It's trendy.
Yeah, it's literally like I'm running my Series A or Series B, C angel round, blah 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 blah, because that seems like the cool thing to do. But think about it. Just you may not need it, or you may. But so on that note, would AC Inc. take investment?
That's a really personal question, Robert.
Well, I mean, your company, not you specifically.
No, I know you said AC Inc. I'm just teasing. 100%. Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely explore that option. Again, with the right person, I'd be, somebody that was really understanding our mission and wanted to get in on what we're doing. We're creating a lot of equity in the company, in the content that we're creating, in the courses and the certification programs that are going to be launched, and the systems that we have. So that'd be fun to explore. It's not something that we've been actively pursuing, but I think anybody with a startup business should really be open to it, but very discretionary.
Mm-hmm. And when you're doing something that's unique, like you are, you kind of want to show it to the world and spread it as fast as you can, put fuel on the fire. If you're in this blue ocean, then you're just growing. But if you're in the red ocean, or am I getting that backwards, and you're actually thinking outside the box, like, get out there. Let's wrap it up.
Now they got to look up blue ocean and red ocean. But anyway, okay, you ready for the countdown?
3,
2,
1. Go be awesome.